Level 1, the applicant. You are 23 years old and you think you know what the FBI is. You've watched the shows, read the headlines, and spent enough time dreaming about this that it feels almost real already. You have a college degree and good grades and a letter from a professor who has never met anyone from the FBI in his entire life. You fill out the application on a Tuesday night at your kitchen table. It takes 4 hours. They want to check every single thing about your life, every job you've ever had, every country you visited, every person you've ever called a friend. They want names, dates, addresses. You send it in and wait. 4 months later, your phone rings. They want to meet you. You drive to the FBI office in a suit you bought the week before. Metal detectors at the door, armed guards, security cameras everywhere. An agent who looks like he's seen everything asks you why you want this job. You give the answer you practiced: justice, service, protecting Americans. He lets you finish. Then he asks the real questions. What happened in 2021 when you took out $3,000 cash over 3 weeks? Why did you stop talking to your father for 2 years? What were you doing in Budapest for 11 days? They already know the answers. They've talked to your college roommate, your ex-girlfriend, the manager at the restaurant where you worked at 19. They've checked your bank history, your driving record, every parking ticket you ever got. The lie detector test is 3 hours in a room with no windows, wires on your chest, sensors on your fingers, questions about things you've never told anyone. 6 weeks later, the letter arrives. Report to Quantico, Virginia. You don't sleep that night. You should. It's the last full night of sleep you'll have for a very long time. Level 2, the trainee. The FBI Academy sits on 547 acres of forest in Virginia. For the next 21 weeks, this place is your whole world. You wake at 5:30 in the morning. You run, you lift weights, you sit through 8 hours of law classes, evidence rules, and how to follow people without being seen. You go to the shooting range, you go to bed. Then you do it all over again. But something happens in week 3 that doesn't happen to everyone. Your instructor pulls you aside after a training exercise. You noticed something that 3 experienced instructors missed: a tiny expression on the suspect's face, a pause before he answered that lasted less than half a second. You spotted it, remembered it, and got it right. The instructor looks at you the way people look at something they weren't expecting to find. He writes a note in your file. You don't know about the note yet. You're just trying to get through each day. You practice in Hogan's Alley, a fake town built just for training. Bank robberies, drug busts, hostage situations. Everything is recorded. Everything is graded. You make mistakes. Everyone does. But your mistakes are different. You never make the same mistake twice. An instructor who has trained agents for 14 years tells a coworker that you think differently than most new agents. Faster, calmer, without the overconfidence that makes most rookies careless. He writes a note in your file too. You graduate on a Friday in November. Badge, credentials, oath. Your mother is in the 3rd row crying. Your father shakes your hand and says nothing because there are no words big enough for this moment. You are now a special agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You have no idea what that small note in your file is about to do to your life. Level 3, the rookie. Your first office is in the Southeast. Bank robberies, dirty politicians, drug dealing across state lines. Whatever criminals cross state borders, it ends up here. You are paired with a training agent named Carver. He has been with the FBI for 16 years and has the look of a man who has seen everything at least twice. He teaches you the paperwork first. There are official forms for everything. He tells you that the case lives in the paperwork. A perfect arrest means nothing if you wrote the report wrong. Your first case is a group of people stealing money from ATM machines across 4 counties. Not exciting. You spend 11 days going through bank records, watching security camera footage, checking times and dates. You find the pattern at 2 in the morning on a Wednesday. 3 people working together, always on weekends, always near a highway exit. You show it to Carver. He reads your work twice, then reads it a third time. He says, "Where did you learn to think like that?" You tell him you didn't learn it anywhere. It just looked obvious to you. He goes quiet. Then he picks up the phone. All 3 suspects are arrested 6 days later. $340,000 recovered. The government lawyer on the case says your report is the clearest, most well written piece of work she has ever seen from a first year agent. She tells your boss. Your boss tells the head of the office. The head of the office reads your file. He finds the note from Quantico. He writes his own note. You close the file. You move to the next case. You have no idea that 3 powerful people have now quietly decided to watch where your career goes next. Level 4, the specialist. 2 years in, and something unusual happens. You get a call from Washington. Not a transfer, not trouble, a request. A special FBI unit that studies criminal behavior wants your help on an active case. A terrorist group operating across 3 states. The case is 9 months old. 3 agents have already worked it. It's going nowhere. They've read everything about you, your test scores, your performance reviews, your evaluations. They want a fresh pair of eyes. You fly to Virginia on a Monday. You spend 4 days in a room full of files, videos, phone recordings, and maps. You barely sleep. You eat snacks from vending machines and drink bad coffee, and you read everything. Not just the evidence, the thinking behind the evidence, the wrong assumptions the other agents made, the places they stopped looking because the trail seemed to go cold. On the 4th day, you present what you found. The group isn't 3 people, it's 7. The 3 people they already know about were put there on purpose. Meant to be found, meant to take all the attention, while the real leaders stayed completely hidden. You explain exactly how you figured this out. You walk them through the phone call patterns, the money movements, and the locations that only make sense if there's a hidden second group underneath the first. The room goes very quiet when you finish. The unit chief asks how long it took you to figure that out. You tell him about 6 hours on the second day. He nods slowly. He asks if you'd like to join his unit permanently. You say yes before he even finishes asking. 3 months later, the whole group is arrested. All 7 members in custody. Nobody was hurt. The case gets mentioned in a private government report. Your name appears in that report. It is the first time your name has appeared anywhere that important. It will not be the last. Level 5, the instrument. 5 years in, and the FBI has stopped treating you like just another agent. They've started treating you like a rare tool. You get sent to cases the way a hospital calls in a specialist for a difficult surgery. Not because of your seniority, not because of your rank, because of what you can do that almost no one else can. You read people the way other agents read reports. You notice the tiny gap between what someone says out loud and what their face and body are saying underneath. You've helped with 41 cases across 11 different FBI offices, 38 people convicted, 2 cases still ongoing. 1 case you gave back because the evidence wasn't strong enough and you refused to put your name on something you didn't fully believe in. That refusal goes in your file too. It impresses the right people more than the convictions did. You go undercover for the first time, a fraud scheme hidden inside a drug company. You spend 4 months pretending to be a mid level office worker. You sit in their meetings. You eat lunch with the people you're investigating. You listen to them talk about their kids and their weekends and their completely normal lives while they quietly steal $47 million through a system they spent 8 years building. You never slip up, not once. Not when the main suspect invites you to his daughter's birthday party and you have to sit in his home surrounded by children and balloons while knowing exactly who he really is. Not when one of his coworkers starts to get suspicious about you and you spend 3 days carefully removing that suspicion without raising your voice or changing your face. The case ends with 11 arrests and all the stolen money recovered. Your undercover supervisor writes in his report that in 19 years of undercover work, he has never seen an agent stay so completely calm under that much pressure. That you are, in his exact words, unlike anyone he has ever worked with. That report goes to the desk of the FBI's number 2. He reads it on a Thursday afternoon. On Friday morning, his office calls yours.